it. And cable was brand new, and they were doing all these old rock and roll movies like Urge: A Music War and Bowie's The Man Who Fell to Earth was one of them. And I must have watched that movie like 15 times in a row, man. It was just...
When did that movie come out? Man Who Fell to Earth?
What, mid-70s?
Yeah, I think so. Early to mid-70s.
Yeah, something like that.
Because I saw that later, too, because I lived in New York City.
Yeah.
But we didn't have cable in, like, Queens, in the boroughs.
Yeah.
And, in fact, we didn't even have cable when I left the city in the 80s. I only got cable when I moved upstate to rural areas. Because up here, you have to have cable.
Yeah.
There's no broadcast TV upstate New York.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but you're a little bit older than me. Back then, when that first came out, I was only like, 6 or 7 years old. But by the time it came onto cable, I was like 10, 11, 12, and I could watch stuff like that. And my parents were pretty open and open-minded about music and stuff. And they had Bowie in their collection. My dad had some Bowie in his record collection. So they didn't mind me watching some of these movies. Of course, some of the movies they didn't know I watched, You
know what we had before cable in the city? It used a special antenna, and it was like a UHF station with a decoder. You had to pay for it like a subscription. It was Wometco.
Yeah, the
Theater.
box. Yeah, we had that too. We had the box. It was called It On TV and It TV, where they took over a different channel. Like ours was channel 20. At 10 o'clock, it would go off the air and it turned into On TV. And you had to have this little decoder box that had like one knob on it, and you had like 2 clicks for it, and it was pretty. It was basically,
Was it like a decoder ring?
Yeah.
That's what it reminds me of.
They played movies, and when the movies went off and in between, they played what I saw was the first music videos. But they weren't big hit videos yet.
No,
it was years, a decade before MTV, maybe.
Yeah, you could see really early punk rock and shit like that.
Yeah, and that's where I first saw Laurie Anderson.
Who's Laurie Anderson?
The O Superman.
Laurie Anderson is a goddess among goddesses. She's like the female David Bowie of changing, and
she was great. And she was Lou Reed's wife.
Yeah, she's something else. I have memories like that too, man. Fucking those early TV shows before cable. You would get different stuff because you had more private owners. So the private owner who owned the broadcasting, who owned the station, couldn't afford to pay ABC, NBC, or whoever, or you couldn't afford to pay them the fees to broadcast this particular material, like Three's Company or whatever. I'm just throwing it out there, or whatever major shows they're selling.
We watched local shows. They were like local TV stations.
Yeah.
On UHF.
Yeah.
UHF, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And that's.
Yeah, and they couldn't afford to buy the material, so they put on a lot of these smaller dance shows and variety shows. They had comedic acts, and they had local musicians come in, and that was like, the earliest things on like cable era I can think of are like early MTV and before, and what was on Night Flight was on USA Network. And what was the one David Ivers used to host? I forget.
A lot of those shows, they never kept the tapes or the films for anything.
Yeah.
It's just like I grew up when I think I was in junior high school, which is what, 6th, 7th, 8th grade, something like that. Soupy Sales was on all the time. And we used to come home from school to watch Soupy Sales. It was comedy stuff for kids with an adult edge. But he used to have groups on there, rock bands and rock singers and stuff. And he pissed the stations off so much that after they fired him, they erased all his tapes. They just recorded over everything.
Oh,
So
wow. Yeah.
all of his stuff is not there. It's gone.
Oh, yeah. A lot of it's gone. Yeah. But there's a lot of it still there. But my grandmother dated him, actually. He went to high school with my grandma. He's from Detroit area. So he got his start here, and he used to come and do, Jerry Lewis does the telethon, or used to,
right?
The big telethon. Well, Soupy Sales used to do one here in Detroit at the Light Guard Armory.
So he was Detroit. I thought he was Jersey, but he was Detroit. Okay.
Yeah, I think he was born here, and then he moved there. He went there, or he was born there. He came here, and then went to New York or something. But he spent a good portion of his years here. And he used to come to Detroit every year and do the Super Sales Telethon. And we'd watch, mostly the Super Sales Telethon and part of the Jerry Lewis Telethon. But, my dad took us one year to go see it live. It was pretty awesome, man. We had a good time.
He finally got thrown off the air because the first thing he did was because his show was supposed to be for kids. And he said, when your mommy and daddy are sleeping, go into their wallets and see all the pieces of paper with the little pictures on them. Send all that to me, He did that.
Yeah.
And then the last one, and I don't know if I heard the joke or not, and if I did, I probably didn't get it because I was a kid. But he said, I went to the ball game with my girlfriend. I kissed her between the strikes, and she kissed me between the balls.
Oh no!
Boom!
Oh,
and that was it.
Is that how he got kicked off because of that, or?
Well, among other things, I guess. But that one, I don't think that would fly now on television.
Yeah, it's funny.
But not then. Forget it.
You see, it's funny. You see, you go back and watch some of this stuff as an adult that you watched as a kid, and and you catch all these innuendos.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't get anything then. I was like 12 years old or something.
Yeah.
Maybe 13.
Yeah.
And not mature. And not mature. Nothing like a 13-year-old.
I'm not mature yet, so I haven't matured yet. So I don't know.
I'm still trying to catch up.
We'll catch up. So one of these days we'll get there.
Yeah.
I was looking for Saturday Night Live did something on David Bowie last night.
Bowie's performances on Saturday Night Live. I remember, when I was a kid, sometimes my parents would let me stay up a little bit late on Saturday night, and especially for the musical performances on Saturday Night Live. And I've seen so many of these great performances live as it happened, and one of them was the TVC-15 performance. That, and I saw the original Dan Aykroyd Plumber's Crack bit. I saw that live for the first that happened.
And I always liked the one where I forgot his name, but he played the male prostitute.
Yeah. Oh, Fred Garvin. Fred Garvin, male prostitute.
Yeah, come in with
series
his truss.
Of trusses. Yeah. Yeah. That shit was good. And Bassomatic. I saw a lot of that stuff live as it happened.
Oh, and Gilda Radner. She was, God,
my goodness.
Punk rock character with the cocaine and shit. Little Tootski. Fucking Bill Murray. And that was always my favorite bit when she did that punk rock character. She had like a huge mound of armpit hair.
Yeah, I think she was mocking Patti Smith.
She was Detroit too. Do you guys know that?
No.
We've got.
I knew they came from Chicago, right?
We've got a cancer. They came out of Second City, but we've got. Yep. She put together a cancer house here in Detroit that is still going strong to this day. That helps women who have, because she died so young.
Yeah. She came to New York with G.E. Smith, a guitar player.
Yeah. Oh, no, that was a band. Oh, man. G.E. Smith and... I'm sorry. That was me. Turn off.
Sorry.
That was me. I'm sorry. Yeah. No, something auto-played on Facebook.
I accidentally did that.
Oh, you did that? I was auto-playing. I was playing something at the same time.
Oh, really? That's weird.
Yeah, that was weird. It's like clicked. Mine must not have made noise yet. Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, man, Saturday Night Live used to be it's still pretty good in its own way, but they've toned it down a lot.
I remember it was the thing to watch on Saturday Night Live. Everything stopped when it went live.
But they would rip topical issues pretty well, and they would push the envelope a lot too. And nowadays they push the envelope a little bit.
It's not edgy. It's not edgy.
It's not
well, now we go to the debates.
It's very safe.
Debates.
Yes, it's funny, but it's very safe humor. It's not pushing at anything. You're not pointing out any serious issues or flaws. You're kind of going the safe route, and it can be funny, but it's just not the old hard hitting. And they stayed strong for many years. I got to give them credit for bucking the system for as long as they did. You know, before they bowed down to the powers that be and did safe stuff.
I just don't think we have the talent we once did. You know, John Belushi.
I think we do. I think we do. We just don't put it out there in the mainstream, because I go to these local shows and I go to these smaller events, you know, and I see out of town people as well as local acts. And I see people who are extremely talented, who put together young kids. I saw this 15-year-old kid that could stand toe-to-toe with Ted Nugent. Attitude, cockiness, and guitar playing wise. You know, I was like, it's there. It's just they don't put it. They only sell you what they want you to have. And they want people who bow down and do what they're told. And that's why you get so much of this cookie cutter stuff. There's somebody put together a video where they showed how for 7 years in a row, the exact same song won country artist of the year award for this country song. And, you know, as a musician, I'm thinking, come on, it can't be that much the same. And I'm listening. Yes. 7 years in a row. All they did was recut different bands. Every time is a different artist. All they did was take the same chord sequence, lay down slightly different melodies over it, and a new lyric. And if you listen to all the lyrics, they're about the same subject. And they're basically the same thing, just using different words to describe the same situations. And he overlaid them. They were so exact. You could... If you closed your eyes, and didn't know the songs, and it was the first hearing, you would think it was one song. And it's just sad. It's just sad. That is the music industry. That is the music industry. That is why talented people like Mr. White can't, you know, had to have a day job and couldn't make a living. While, you know, because there are so many people there are so many talented artists, and I don't know. I'm starting to rethink how a lot of this stuff and a lot of the way the world works and how it should probably be, because I don't know, it just doesn't. I don't really listen to anything major anymore. I don't listen to any of the major labels unless I find it on my own. I don't try not to pay any attention to any mainstream outlets or.
Well, I wonder how anyone new is ever going to make it in radio anymore, because there are no more radio stations with live hosts on them anymore.
Very rare.
Everything's computerized. Everything's subscription.
There's quite a few around here, but you're right. It's scripted. They have a script they have to follow.
And it's subscription as well. They have playlists. Sometimes we have a local radio station in my town. They used to have local shows. Local people used to go on for community stuff and different things like that. Yeah. Now, sometimes they don't even have a board up in the place. Someone just sets it up, leaves, comes back 6 hours later, and reloads something. There's no tape machines. There's nothing anymore. It's all internet driven. It's all they play music. They sign on like we would log into anything, like we log into Spreaker or Pandora or anything. They log into their paid subscription services and get the same shows like iHeartMedia. iHeart goes all across the country, and basically thousands of stations play the same exact songs.
Yep.
Same tunes.
Yep.
And after drive time or afternoon, if no one has an afternoon show, It's all computerized. It all just rolls along because I listen